All right, and welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. This is Jan Stringer, and I'm very excited about today. I'd only do this kind of a call about once a year, and I realized I didn't actually do it last year. This is a fun call for me because it gets to talk about romance. And I think that when you put your attention on something, it grows, right? Where your attention goes, energy flows. And so I've been noticing a lot more love is really in the air. And whether that love is for yourself or with another person. Hi, Martina, welcome. And it's all important to note that when you start to turn on your light, you start to attract more love. And that's what we're here to ignite today. And I hope you'll have a lot of fun with it. So in your chat line, and we'll open up the conversation line as well. But in the chat, be sure and put what attracted you to be here today, and then also a goal, either or both. Okay. So let's see. Bridge says, how soon can you tell the chemistry is right? Oh man, I don't think you have to wonder about that. Either it's a yes or a no. And clearly, Bridge, when the chemistry is right, and you have your attraction plan, which we're gonna talk about today, you'll be clear and the chemistry's there, it's a go. I don't think you have to wait a long time for chemistry, but there's probably many contrasting statements to that. It could be over a long period of time and then you found love, that you knew somebody. I've heard that many times. I remember our next door neighbors when I was growing up. And they were friends with, a bunch of different people. And anyway, their spouses passed away and they got together. So, you never know how love is going to show up. I think it's when you're ready. All right, well, I'm going to just get started with a little bit of a slideshow. I promise I won't put you to sleep with this, but just to get you thinking a little bit about what we're talking about today. And so the focus for today is about how to attract your perfect dinner date to soulmate. So the point of that is that we are where we are at any moment. It's all good. I don't have to jump into something that doesn't feel comfortable to me. So for today, let's get clear about where we are so that we know whether we want to attract that perfect dinner date or you're ready for the soulmate. I think you may already know who I am, but I thought I would just tell you a little bit about who I am. I'm the founder of Perfect Customers. I started the business, believe it or not, 20 years ago. And I've been teaching the strategic attraction plan to people, business owners all over the world. And my primary focus is working with business rather than romantic love. And I should say, yes, and the attraction planning process that I'll be sharing about today is applicable to any kind of relationship. So it works well for your business clientele, but it also works well for romantic partners. So I talk about that in 2 books that I've written. Attracting Perfect Customers was the first that got the business started. And then about 9 years later, I wrote Being Attraction, What Love Has to Do with Business and Marketing. And so there's always been an element of love in all the work that I talk about, because I believe that if you love what you do and you're in the right business, you're gonna have a long, successful career. And if you love the person you're with, you're gonna have a long, successful relationship. So that goes without saying. And then this Strategic Attraction Star is my certification training program. I teach a way for you to be able to use the strategic attraction plan with your own clientele. So that's what that's all about. And you'll probably hear from me later about that. I'll get another class started on that this spring, and details to follow. So without a show of hands, and maybe you're raising your hand where you are, but I would assume you're looking for love. Anybody here looking for love? Every day, right? Well, my invitation today is to stop looking and stop chasing and start attracting your perfect romantic partners. I know it's harder to go out and look um, because it feels like whenever I've gone to like a singles group or something like that, if I'm there looking to find somebody, I usually find myself hiding out in the back corner of the room. But when I have clarity about what's perfect for me in my romantic life, it becomes like a tool. It's a confidence builder. It's a energy builder. It's a tool that gives me power internally so that when I do meet and greet or talk with somebody that's new, or even somebody that I've known a long time, I know clearly if that might be a potential romantic partner or not. And so if you're dating now, you're going to find this a very effective class for you. But even if you haven't been dating and you've been sitting on the sideline for a while, that's okay too. You start with where you are, and wherever you are is absolutely perfect. Let's see. I'm kind of running everything today on my own. I think there's a chat. Let me just check. Oh, thanks, Martina. She wants to learn from my wisdom. Okay. And Evelyn says that she would love to find her life partner and still believe in fulfilling, lasting relationships. And I do too, and even in the ups and downs of it all. Martina also says, I have two lovely women. Oh, you said that privately. I'm sorry, I just announced it. But Martina's one of my clients, and she's also sharing the attraction planning process with her clientele. So she's been certified to do that. So anyway, sorry I didn't read the fine print. Anyway, keep writing in the chat line about any questions you might have. And what's your goal? It's good to keep refining what your goals and intentions are. And I think that what you're going to find today is more clarity about what's perfect for you. So that's one of the big goals for our call today. Let's see. Another intention that I have for today is that you get a feeling, and I'll refer back to that in just a second, but there's a feeling I find that when I'm ready to date, I also have to be open to attract love again. And so sometimes after, circumstances, I know my husband died 2.5 years ago, and that was very challenging to really feel confident about anything, either romantically or even in business. So I had the feeling that I'm ready to date and attract and be open to attract love again. And it just comes in however it comes to you. But I think today might be a sign to the universe. I signed up for the webinar, and it might be saying that you too are ready for this as well. And I'm also going to share with you a plan. I'm a strategic planner. I like to know A to B. I like to get clear about things before I jump into them. I don't always have that luxury, but today you're going to get started on a plan, and it's like this little baby plant, the seedling that is popping up. Just plant the seeds today and watch the growth start to happen. So my definition of dating is same as definition for marketing and sales, and it's building relationship. And whether that's a new prospect for your business or a new prospect for your romantic life, just remember, all that you have to know is that it's about building a relationship. And if you've built a relationship with one person anywhere in your life, with your family, your best friend, your kids, if you've ever built just one successful relationship, you have the success knowledge in you already about how to build a relationship. You know how to do that. And so sometimes these things go out the window when we start to get our emotions involved. So what we're doing here today is just kind of putting it on paper. We're kind of strategizing a little bit and putting it kind of in a business context, if you will. I think a romantic partnership is really kind of a business layout, you know, where we would, if we were starting a business today, we would have a strategy. We would know what we want. We'd be clear about it. Well, it's the same for your dating or romantic partnerships, is that you want to have a goal. You want to have a strategy. You want to know who you're going to be. And we'll talk more about that today. So first, and then I'm going to ask for some interaction in just a minute, but this is the first step before we get into our strategic attraction planning process. So clarity has power. And so I think there's some pressure sometimes, especially if you're joining an online dating service, or you might feel a pressure to go further than you're ready for. So that's the first question to ask, is what type of romantic partnership do I want right now? We're not talking about the rest of your life today, but what about right now? And I think a good place to start is a coffee or lunch or dinner date. And so you may be ready for that. But if you've been in the dating scene for a while, maybe you've been with somebody that you're interested in, maybe the next step is soulmate. And then maybe you know they're your soulmate, or you're ready to bring that and call that person in for you. This is a good question to ask. So chat in the chat line, just put what type of romantic partner are you ready for? And somebody share with us what you see about that for yourself. Anybody that's willing to share. Anybody?
Sorry, Jan, what is your question? The type of relationship
We're just kind of starting a little dialogue about what kind of romantic relationship do you think you're ready for right now?
Well, I would say that I'm ready for companionship, which could blossom into, friendship and a romantic relationship.
Okay.
But I am thinking of it more like a partnership, at this stage in my life. Romance is certainly welcome, but I think about caring and love, in a much more pragmatic sense, like, listening to each other or supporting each other in one's goals and growth and development. So those are the thoughts I have right now.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's very well thought out. And I like that. The companionship is certainly something I'm interested in as well. All right, let's see. Linda, you've got your hand raised. Why don't you unmute yourself? And yeah.
Yeah, that last person shared it very well. I've had some coffee dates, lunch dates, dinner dates, and I've had, there've been a couple of guys that I've gone out with several times, and I'm ready to find the one. I'm ready to find that soulmate, that relationship that I want to commit to, and I want it to be based on mutual attraction and shared interests, shared values. I want it to be someone who really supports who I am, and vice versa. I can support who he is being in the world.
Yeah.
And so that we can support each other, creating a great life, not just together, but in our community and in the way we contribute.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds like you've got a bit of clarity going for you too, Linda. So maybe today is the opportunity with that clarity to open to that kind of relationship. And I talk about in my books and some of my other classes, I talk about the lighthouse as being that metaphor for business, but it's also a metaphor for relationship. That the one thing that keeps the boats from finding the lighthouse is if their light is out. One of my friends called it, my pilot light has gone out, and, sometimes we just need to get that little fire starter, on the pilot light and get that light burning a little brighter. And so that's what I would say is today, let's make a goal that we're turning the pilot light on in our lighthouse to let that light shine, because our perfect partners, our mates, our soulmates, our companions are actually looking for that light right now. And so let that be one of your goals perhaps today. All right, so thank you, Colleen. You like the lighthouse too. She says she's looking for a soulmate based on friendship and engaging and shared interest. And Evelyn says she so agrees about becoming the right match, but how to cultivate the right energy to be the right vibrational match. Absolutely. Dating and attraction is all about vibration. And so I'll share with you that in this attraction planning process, that it is a vibrational tuning fork, you could say, in that it will help you to really raise your vibration and start being picky. We've all had those failures where it doesn't quite work out the way we want it to. So what we're wanting in our dating life is to be more picky. And maybe your mom told you one day, oh, don't be so picky. I highly encourage you just the other way. Be picky. And today's a day to be picky too. All right, so I'm going to come back to those in a minute. All right, so if you haven't picked a relationship type, I want you to, on your piece of paper, if you would, just write down what kind of relationship you're ready to attract. And we're going to focus on that first relationship for today's purposes. So just write that down. And then underneath that, this has already started with some of the things that you share. Start writing some of the things you want in that relationship. What would be something that somebody might write on this part of the plan? We're just getting ready to go to the next stage. So just jot down a few things. I want companionship. I want travel. I want ease in communication. I want our families to, connect well. I want ease. Did I say that? I think I said that like 5 times. I want a level of partnership where we communicate like adults. I want somebody that can tell me what they want and somebody that I can tell what I want. So just write down whatever comes to you. And I'm going to go to the next piece, the next slide, but go ahead and keep writing. So we did this already. If you haven't, you're picking the type of relationship for an attraction plan. What we're leading up to is what I call my strategic attraction plan. And this is going to be an attraction plan for that kind of relationship that you want to attract. So it could be a dinner date, a soulmate, a long-term partnership. And put today's date on your plan. So you've already started the first part of the plan. You've picked the type of relationship. I want a companion. I want a soulmate. And go ahead and continue writing down what you want. And let me just give you a little overview of this first part of our plan. Is that step 1 is the first of 5 steps for a strategic attraction plan. And I'm going to step you through step 1 quite thoroughly today. And I'm going to open the lines up in just a minute so that you can share, because one of the things that we do is we learn from each other. And so I hope you'd be willing to share some of the things that you're wanting, because it might inspire something for somebody else. But step 1 could be a very long list. Maybe you've already created a list, but I want you to expand it. So many times we think that we have to limit ourselves, or maybe we don't allow our imagination to really write down what we want, because there's that little chatter in the back of the head that says, you're not going to get that. You're too picky. I want you on this part of the plan to really allow your pen to be your magic wand, that everything you write, your magic wand is going to create. And I think you're going to find out of doing this exercise that you start to draw to you more people that are a perfect match. In fact, you may go on a coffee date, let's say, and you're sitting there and go, wow, I just wrote down on my step 1 of strategic attraction planning that that person greets me with a really big smile. They're very easy to talk with, or he or she. I've noticed that they dressed a particular way. So go ahead and start writing on your plan. This is the activation of step 1 of the strategic attraction plan. And what we're answering the question to, or the comments to, on step 1 is to describe the qualities, characteristics, and attributes of your perfect fill in the blank, whatever that is, companion, soulmate, romantic partner, husband, wife, whatever it is your heart desires. Go ahead and start writing. This is an opportunity to do this for yourself today. So I'm going to stop the share for a minute, like a screensaver, and in just a minute I'm going to ask you to tune back in. Maybe you'll put your video on, or if you want to just chat, that's fine too. But let's see if I missed anything while you're writing. All right. So let's hear from a few of you. What were some of the things that you started to write on step number 1 of the qualities, characteristics, and attributes of your perfect romantic partner, whatever that type of relationship is for you? All right. So who's going to lead us off in that?
Can you hear me, Jan?
Yes. Who's this?
Dagny, but I blocked my video because I have something. I'm putting a mask on my face, so that's
Okay.
But listen, I know you from I want a relationship like you had with your lovely husband who passed away. I remember you that far back, and but I have a little problem because I'm a baby boomer, but I'm in impeccable shape. I'm not a pound overweight. I work out every day. I eat like maybe 2% of the population of the world. And, so I am up there. I am a little bit extreme and everything. And so I feel like that I do have a lot of like anger, because most baby boomer men they have a belly on them. They don't even know who Bruce Lipton or the great Tony Robbins or any of those people are. They haven't worked on any of their conditioning from childhood. And I guess I can see it influences my vibration, because, it doesn't matter that they're nice. Nice is everywhere. Nice voted for Trump. So, I'm sorry. I had to say that. So I'm looking for a man who did work on himself, and that's a very small percentage. So I understand. It's like I get my vibration is interrupted by this, this kind of a little bit of a disappointment and resentment, because I'm 2% of the population of the world, and that's a little more difficult. I don't want to teach a man. I already teach people how to be in shape. I don't want to teach the man that I'm with.
All right. This is perfect, Dagny, because
really?
yeah, it really is. I'm so glad you shared this, because you're just speaking what everybody's thinking.
I don't think so, because most people are not in the shape I'm in. No, most people have not done the work I've done on myself.
But here's the thing. There are, let me tell you, about 16 people on this call, about 50 people registered to come.
Right. Right
there is a community of people that want everything you said you weren't getting. So sometimes my girlfriend, bless her heart, Heather, wherever you are today, and when I was back in the dating scene many moons ago, she used to say to me, Jan, you have to know what you don't want before you know what you do want. And so every one of those things that you shared, that's why it was perfect, because I want you to, maybe you can listen to the recording if you didn't write all that down. Each one of those things needs to be flipped. So let's just say what you don't want is someone who doesn't work on themselves, they're overweight, they're old, they act older than their age, whatever you might want to say. So let's just say, what would be, that's what you don't want. What do you want? Put it in the framework of what you do want. So what are a couple of things that you would say you absolutely must have in your new relationship?
I want a man that's a warrior. I want him wild in the bedroom, but I want him, to be respectful, and I want him to be able to really, really put workout in he's serious about working out at the gym on weights. That's what I do.
Okay, so write that down.
Yeah.
We'll write that down if not now, later. What else do you want? What do you really, really want? And tell that part of your brain that's saying you can't have what you want. Tell it to shut.
I want him to eat organic. I want him to know the difference between organic and non-organic, and chemical induced things.
Okay, so you want somebody that's health conscious.
Yes.
Somebody
really health conscious. Everyone says they're health conscious, Jan, but then when I see their eating habits, I'm like, are you serious?
Yes. That big burger and fry didn't really fit in the health conscious department.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you want somebody who's health conscious. You want somebody that is trim, works out,
right,
that you can maybe share working out together, that you share your love of eating organic foods, cooking the right way. I hear your frustration in your voice, of course.
I know.
So just remember this, that where your attention goes, energy flows.
And I know all about Abraham Hicks. I've been doing it for years, and that's what I mean. I know that's going on with me. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Good. All right. So just for today, I want you to know, where's my wand? I didn't bring my magic wand. Oof. Today, everything changes. Today, I said this in one of my emails, I think, that today's your relationship game changer. But who has to be willing for the game to change?
I do.
Yes. So if you're willing to have your game change today, you're going to have to put a stake in the ground and say, okay, today it changes. And where does it change first? Here or over there?
I think it changes. Well, of course, it changes within me in my heart. I want like what you had with him, where that you both were aligned, that you already done work on yourself. You want it because nobody can help anyone else unless they've done work on themselves, and it's just not possible. And that's so that we can be able to inspire others just by not even saying anything, just by how we look, just how sensual and present we are with each other.
All right. Are you taking a stand? Today's your game changer day?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to come back to you, but I want you to start writing the things you really want, and I want you to allow yourself to believe that you can have what you want. And the law of attraction, I talk about the law of attraction, but the law of attraction, like attracts like, is only as applicable, I guess that's the right word, only as good as my ability to allow it to happen. So the law of allowance works hand in glove with law of attraction. If I'm willing to allow the game changer day to happen, to be today, you'll start to know that it's shifting when you start to attract a different crowd of people. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You got the juices flowing. Okay. And let's see, Bridge, I see your hand is raised.
Well, I was just going to add to or give another example of the qualities that I'm looking for. So I think of my ideal partner as someone who is self-aware and just like tuned into what's happening in the world, for the community, planet, country. And I think of her as someone with whom I share a sense of humor, a common set of core values, and just, ease and fun and grace and just hanging out. And of course, there should be mutual attraction. But I think it's sort of like very naive to say this, but I think one of the qualities I'm looking for in someone is that they should be interested in me and what is important to me, so we can listen to
Absolutely.
each other's goals in life, vision, and empower each other. So.
Nice. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
You are, you're definitely, I know you've been working on this for a little while. You didn't just start today. But if you could change one thing about what's happened maybe in the past of your dating or relationships, and you could have something brand new starting today, what would that be?
Yeah, I think I related to the sense you described in the beginning that when you go like a dating event or in a group or even when you meet someone, there is a sense of anxiety, there is a sense of dis-ease that will they see the best in me or can I present my best self?
Mm.
So I think if I could shift that way of being such that I can just be myself and trust that my ideal partner will be naturally sort of attracted to me from that place of being, that's something I would very much want.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so are you willing to allow that into your life?
I say I'm slightly resigned about it, but listening to you, I want to say yes.
Well, say yes, because
Yes.
it's not enough just to write a list. I mean, this could be the best list on the planet. You could have everything every romance novel includes and the best relationships and everything you'd ever want. But I want you to also say today's my game changer day for relationship, because it's about opening to receive. And we're all really good givers. I know that to be true. I'm a great giver, but I also have to balance the scales into the opening to receive.
Well, then I'll say yes, that today is a game changer for me, and I'll give up my past-based thoughts and beliefs and just declare that this is a new era, that I'm open to receiving,
Yeah,
meeting, and attracting my perfect partner. Thank you.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. All right. Giving you a standing O. All right, you're not going to believe this, but I have to open the door for my dog. She's going to drive me crazy. I'll be right back. All right, write down one more thing, and this will only take a second. I can't believe this. Oh my gosh. Oh, love my dog. And of course, I knew that would happen. That's one thing I hadn't planned for. Okay. Anybody else have something you'd like to share on what you're writing or noticing as you're writing on your first part of the plan of what you want, what is standing out for you right now? Maybe something's in the way or something you've been bumping into time and time again. Anybody? Let's see. Colleen's got some things in the chat. She's in great shape. She does ballet, bar every morning. She's organic. Food, spiritual growth. She wants to share interest. And there are wonderful men out there, she affirms. I love that. Yeah, the minute I say, all men are fill in the blank, guess what? They all are. So, somebody else. Okay. All right, well, now I'm going to take you into another part of the plan. Must love dogs. I saw that, Colleen. I put in my profile on Match.com that they must love cats. And And so then I did have dated somebody since Alan's death, and he loves dogs. So now I learned to love dogs, and I didn't know that I loved dogs, but I'm a dog person too now. But all right, I'm gonna share the next piece of our program. All right, so here's the thing about step one, you can keep adding to it. And so when you meet somebody that they have a quality you like, if you will make a note of that and add it to your plan will continue to have, it takes on like a life of its own. And I'm just gonna give you another affirming vote for doing this process. I've never met anybody that it didn't work for. There may be a smaller result with one person and a larger with another, but that's all based on the willingness that they are to open to the law of allowance. All right, so here's the second part of our strategy today. And I'm going to give you all the steps of the attraction plan so that you can start working on this. And then I'm going to also tell you about a master class that I'm teaching. I only do this again once a year, but the master class I just felt like was something that would be really fun. And I'll tell you more about that in just a second. But in your attraction plan for step 2, you've been working on step 1, and that's to describe the person you want to be with. I found that relationships will sustain over time, and they'll also consequently break apart if this step 2 isn't really solidified inside of yourself, and if it's not a match with the person that you hook up with. So step 2 is to identify what makes me and my romantic partner tick. And so what that means is that it's about you could call it your passions, your purpose, your mission of service. I found that the most sustainable relationships are the ones that tick to the same beat, like they are committed to the same thing in life. Now, will it work without that? It hasn't for me, but I am an expert in failed relationships, I think, because I tried so many different versions of before I got clear about what I really must have in that individual. When I wrote the book, Attracting Perfect Customers, together with Stacy Hall, we were both married, and she still is, I'm sure, but I was married to a man named Peter, and just a wonderful person. He was a great, great man, and I'm thankful and grateful to him for many, many things. But there was one thing that just didn't really match with us, and it was step 2, is that I'm a deeply spiritual person, and my life is really guided by that spirituality and my purpose and living true to that. And that just wasn't his path. And it became all too glaringly clear that was a big missing for me. And so step 2 is where you get to say what you must have on the soul level. And if you don't have it on a soul level, you're not going to be with your soul mate. You may be with a great person to hang out with. You may have a lot of fun. But if you're really wanting and craving that sustaining soulmate type of a connection, step 2 becomes super, super important. And so how do you get in touch with what makes you tick? So one of the things that I like to ask myself is, what's important to me? Simple as that. What gets me out of bed in the morning? And how does that relate to a relationship, a romantic relationship? Alan and I both had things that we wrote for our attraction plan of what made us tick as individuals. And then after we came together, we created one of what makes us tick together as a couple. And I really saw when we worked together on what makes us tick, that it was the thing that made us stick. And that and while, we were no way a perfect couple. We had our issues just like everybody else. But the one thing that held us together was that we had this mutual belief that we were together for a bigger purpose. And that's what step 2 is about. So that's something we're going to go into a little bit more in depth in the masterclass. But does anybody have any questions about that? Let's see. Can't get the chat to open. Bridge.
Jan, could you or someone else give examples of what makes you tick, just to have some concrete examples?
Okay.
What might someone say? Thanks.
Yeah, so, well, for me as an individual, what makes me tick is being voice of feminine spirit. That's mine. And then the one that Alan and I created together is what makes us tick is helping heart-centered entrepreneurs to be more connected to themselves and to their businesses. That was basically it. But what makes you tick could be your family. It could be love. It could be leaving a legacy it could be contributing to the world and to make it a better place. What makes you tick could be something that you feel is so important to you that it's kind of like almost goes without saying that you don't always talk about it. It's just who you are in the world.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. So this is the third step of the strategic attraction plan, is to specify what I want my perfect romantic partner to expect of me. So what this part of the plan is all about is to get in touch with what I want. And I know I've many examples where I was blaming Alan, for example, that I wasn't getting what I wanted. And that's a real natural human tendency, like, well, you're not, you didn't bring me roses on Valentine's, or you're not helping me to travel to the places that I want to go. I remember one time we had gone to a luxury resort in Phoenix to attend a conference. We went a day early so that we could hang out by the pool and just have some quality time together. And when we got there, the room wasn't great. The room was great, but it was two separate beds. We're like, well, we came here for romantic partnership, and we don't want 2 separate beds. So then we moved to another room, and that one looked like the older part of the hotel. It wasn't that great. And then we moved to another room, and at the third room, I admit, I'm being picky. Alan had, by the time we got into this third room, he had already unpacked his toiletries and hung all his shirts in the closet, and was already like unpacked and ready to go on to the next. And I'm still standing in the doorway going, I think this room smells musty. And anyway, Alan said, well, what do you want? And I'm like, well, you obviously don't want to spend the money for a better room. And I immediately started blaming him that for some reason, this is his fault, because when we checked in, I'd asked for a nicer room, and now this wasn't a nicer room. And obviously, I had this whole story made up. And fortunately, him being the transformed guy that he was, he looks at me and says, Jan, what would be perfect for you right now? And I went, well, I want to go back to the first room. And he says, okay, let's do it. And it was really one of those defining moments, as I realized I was so committed to blaming him rather than tapping into seeing what is it I really want. And so in step number 3, as we start to really delve into what we want in a romantic partnership, we also must delve into the other side of it. What do I want them to expect of me? Not like what is expected of me, because I had that one too. Sometimes you think, oh, if I start dating again, I'm going to have to lose 5 pounds because I'm way too fat, because they'll expect me to be thin. And then I'm like, no, what I want is my perfect romantic partner to love how I look right now. And so step number 3 is where I don't point the finger outside of me. I start to answer the question, what do I want? What's perfect for me right now? And that's what step 3 is about. Questions? Comments? All right.
So, Jan, I have a quick question, which is, I think in the previous step you said, what makes you tick and what makes your perfect partner tick.
Correct.
So, I was thinking that my perfect partner would probably align with or be in synergy with what makes me tick, but they could have a number of things that they could be passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it mean to think about what makes one's perfect partner tick?
Well, I think that there's compatibility in certain, if you answer step number 2, let's just say it was something like mine, or use myself as an example, is that what makes me tick is about being voice of feminine spirit. It's a very spiritual kind of part of me. And if I were to be involved with somebody that was totally not that, I would know right away that this, while that's maybe a person that's really great, but I would really want the alignment for somebody that I'm going to stick with for a long period of time. So if I'm really looking for more than just a dinner date, I want like that long time sustaining relationship, then I want to be clear that what makes them tick is going to be compatible or in sync or in alignment. Those are a lot of different ways you could approach it, and with what makes me tick. It's not a magic answer, but that's kind of, it takes getting to know one another. You don't always know this on the first date. So it does take a little bit of time to understand this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Evelyn, you're next.
Hi. I just like to know, because I'm not quite sure what the step, what step 3 really means. Because when you say it's about what I want, or what I want right now, what's perfect for me right now,
Yeah.
how does it differ from step 1? I mean, what exactly is it that you ask for in this step, maybe?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So I like to look at it this way. Step 1 is about the other person. We're looking outside of ourselves. This is them, like maybe they walk in the room and I have a visual, or I have a sense inside of me of what they're like. That's step 1. You're looking outside of yourself. And then step 2 is about me and them, the two of us. But step 3 is about me, myself, and I. Like the world, let's say, like our parents had an expectation we might grow up to be a certain way. This is not that. This is just the opposite. Our parents might have had an expectation of me to become a doctor or a teacher or something. But what's perfect for me is what step 3 is about, where I say, that I want my perfect partner to expect me to what? To what are all the fun things that you want to have in your life? If you had, or you attracted somebody that you felt a good match for you, what would be some of the things you would want in that relationship?
Do you mean I'm not quite sure if I'm getting it.
Well, just say, what is it you want your perfect partner to expect of you? Are you going to eat organic foods and work out at the gym? Do you want your perfect partner to expect you to live in a certain geography? Do you want your perfect partner to expect you to pick up the tab when you go to dinner? What is it you want your perfect partner to expect of you?
So it's kind of what I would love him to treat me, something like that.
Yeah, how do you want to be treated?
Yeah.
And what would you, step one is more about how you want them to treat you. You know, step one might be equality is that they open the car door
Mm-hmm.
when we go out. But step three could be, I want my perfect romantic partner expect me to allow them or him to open the door for me.
Hmm.
You see how they have kind of a, you know, it's kind of like that law of attraction, law of allowance thing. It's also another thing, step three, remember we were talking about as we got started, being open, that this is the game changer day. I want my perfect romantic partner to expect that today's my game changer day. I'm going to focus on all the things that I want to attract and let go of that mind chatter that says, I can't have it. I'm going to have this be, I want my perfect romantic partner to expect me to be ready for that game-changing relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So being ready,
Yeah.
being open, I want them to expect me to be intimate, to share my heart with them. What is it you really want them to expect of you?
Could you maybe also say, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be in that relationship?
Yes, that's the next step. Don't tell anybody.
Okay, so I'm
You're
just
right on track. I think you're
okay,
on track. Yeah.
getting it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, you know, like another thing for step three could be, I want my perfect romantic partner to expect me to be clear about what I want. If I'm not clear, how will they know what I want?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Alan asked me, well, Jan, what's perfect for you around that hotel room? I was pointing the finger over at him and saying, blah, 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 and blaming him. And when he turned it around, what do you want? That's what step three is. I want my perfect romantic partner to expect me to get what I want, to say what I want. If I want a dozen roses on Valentine's, I need to let them know.
Mm.
If I want spa treatments for Christmas, or what's the next? Easter. That's the next holiday. I need to let them know. But
It's kind of communicating my needs, maybe.
yes, I want my perfect romantic partner to communicate what my needs are, how they can love me. I want them to expect me to be receiving of their love. So this is really what step three is about, is that clarity thing of getting clear of what's perfect for me. And give up the blame game. You know, throw out the window. Yes, there can be categories of people that aren't a good fit for any one of us that's on this group call. And we need to be open and clear about who is a good fit. I want my perfect romantic partner to expect me to tell them, though, you know, when it's just not a fit anymore. Or I want them to expect me to let them know I'm ready to go to the next level. I have courage. I have strength. I have love to share to the right person. I'm willing to commit. These are all things you would put on step three.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So here you go, Evelyn. You were setting us up for the next part. Is in order to really activate our attraction plan, we have to step into the being of what we've written on our plan. And so that's what step four is all about. It's a declaration of being. And so like the declaration, we started out with declarations. Today's my game changer day. I'm declaring who I'm being is ready for love. Who I'm being is that I am being the person that is sending out their light and drawing in the perfect people for me to connect with. That's what step 4 is about. You have to step into the being first. If you're being open for love, guess what? Love will follow. But if you're not attracting love and you're doing all the right things, it's only because you haven't lit your pilot light. And step 4 is like sending the light out. You've got your light is inside of you all the time. But if you choose consciously to not let that light shine, you will not attract romantic love or anything, really. You won't attract clients either. But what you'll find is just the flip of a switch of declaring your being and who you're stepping into being today can start to cause you to draw in the people that you are desiring or the certain person. All right, this is the step 5. This is the last of the attraction plan. We've gone through all 5 steps. And it's about taking an action and avoiding dazzling distractions. And anybody that is, well, like Dagny was explaining earlier, you know, the knots, the not this people. That's a dazzling distraction. If I go off and I get involved with somebody that's not a match for me, then that's a dazzling distraction. And so what we're doing here is clarifying what's perfect for me. And with that clarity, it lets our light shine a lot brighter. And it also makes it takes the struggle out of relationship, because you can walk away if you need to, or you can take it to the next step if that's what's the next step is the natural next step. So what's an attractive action that you might take today to move your romantic partnership ahead? You know, it could be maybe you want to let your friends know that who do they know that they might introduce you to, and after you work on your attraction plan, you'll be ready to tell them what you want. Or maybe you haven't gone on an online dating service yet. Maybe you want to write your profile and maybe post it. What's an attractive action that somebody might take? I know one. I talk about this in business a lot, but I call it the cloak of invisibility. Is that, you know, just like Harry Potter, he put on that cloak of invisibility. Guess what? Nobody's going to see you. So an attractive action and a declaration as well of being is that, you know, who I'm being is visible, allowing others to see me, letting my love light shine. An attractive action could be getting out of the house, going someplace where you know, even if it's, you know, go to Starbucks and have a coffee and just practice letting your light shine. I took a class one time where they talked a lot about our energies and how the attraction followed our energy and how we could turn it on, turn it off. And the woman of the partner that was sharing this workshop, she was talking about that she would go to practice attraction. And even though she was married, she wanted to kind of like, it was a little case study for herself. But she said she would go to Starbucks and she would get her coffee and she would practice magnetizing people over her. It was a whole thing she did. It was really cool, I thought. And she practiced flirting. This is another thing. If it's okay to flirt, kind of, you know, winks and, you know, let your love light shine. Flirting is a whole action that you can take to stir up inside of you that you're ready for love. But it can also, whether you meet somebody at Starbucks or that group meeting or wherever you are, you know you're available. And that's a being available for love. And when you flip that light on, the next thing to do are take some attractive actions, and sitting at home will not do it. I can promise you. So you've got to get out, you've got to meet, you've got to practice, you want to flirt. These are all attractive actions. You don't have to do online dating if that's not perfect for you. And you might want to try it. If you haven't ever done it before, you might want to try it or try a different site. You don't need to sign up for 5 different ones. Just practice letting your love light out. That's an attractive action you can take. So questions, comments, what are you noticing?
My perfect man wouldn't be in Starbucks, I can guarantee you that.
Okay, right. Where would they be?
Or maybe coffee bean, or I don't even drink coffee, so
Me
maybe
either.
a little tea house.
A tea house, yeah, absolutely. We have this darling tea house here in Santa Fe. It's just sort of, have a whole menu of tea,
Oh yeah.
something like that. And that's a good point. Where would you go that's a match for yourself would be a match for the people that go there. If you like it, they might like it too. Good to notice. Anybody else? What did you notice for yourself? All right, well, think about that a little bit. I do want to tell you, I have a master class. I wanted to promote that a little bit today. It's like I said, I only do this once a year. It's 3 group calls like this. It starts next Thursday, be at the same time as this call today, and it's facilitated by me. What we will do in the master class is have you be absolutely clear about who's a perfect match for you through the strategic attraction planning process. And you're going to get some bonus. You'll get a copy of my book. You're going to get a resource guide that you can use around romantic partnerships, and an e-guide that is like a workbook that goes along with it. And you're going to get an online access to my love library. And inside of the love library, you're going to get your recordings from the classes and also other guide and resource material. And that'll be yours to keep. And I'm also, for anybody that enrolls the first 5 people, I'm going to do a laser coaching session where we really, shine the bright light in some particular area of your partnerships and see what's possible for you there. And it can also be something that really, this class I think is going to open all of us up to really receive the love that we desire, whether that's your dinner date or soulmate, and it's perfect for whatever place you're in right now. Even if you're married and in a long-term relationship, the master class is a great way to jazz up the relationship you're in, because one of the things that happens is it can get a little boring, or we quit trying, or we quit, oh yeah, well, I got them in the bag now. I don't have to really bring love. But this could also jazz up your relationship if you're already in one. And you got to love this price. It's only $197. And so I'm going to put a link in the chat. So, and then I'll open up for questions and comments. Let's see. For some reason it's not letting me chat. All right. So think of your questions or your comments while I do this. Just take a second. All right, there we go. Okay, I figured it out. Hopefully this will work. All right, there's a little link. If you want to enroll, you can be one of the first 5 to get the private coaching. I charge $500 an hour if I were to charge by the hour, which I don't. So it's, just if you got one laser coaching, it would be worth it, and the class would be a bonus. But I found that in romantic partnership, we need a community, a tribe to be supportive of helping us to get where we want to go, and certainly to dispel some of the many things that can pop up as we're entering into romantic partnerships. So,
Jen, how long is the program?
oh, it's just 3 calls. It starts next Thursday and the next 2 Thursdays after that. So it's 3 sessions.
And you'll take us through these 5 steps in more detail?
Yeah, we're going to go in depth so that you have a really honed strategic attraction plan that is very custom tailored to who you are, what you want, and the relationships. This will be a game changer, kind of a course for you in relationships, because you can do the strategic attraction plan on your own. I've given you enough today to do it on your own. And the benefit of having other people to support us and contribute to us and add to is a huge boost in going forward. So
Thank you.
Each of those sessions is an hour.
it's an hour or probably 90 minutes. I'd say allow 90 minutes so that we have plenty of time to add, get the material covered and then questions and answers. So, Martina.
Yeah, I just want to pipe in and just say that if you're on the fence, I highly recommend this. Jan is an awesome teacher. I've been through a few sessions with her, and even just going through this process, not only do you define what you clearly want, but you're also defining yourself. There's so many aha moments there, and even though you start with one intention, it just completely shifts into something that's even more magnificent. So I highly advise it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I actually have to go, so I
Okay,
wanted
no,
to
we're
say that.
over a little bit. I was going to try to keep this to an hour. I'm not very good at keeping anything to an hour, but
That's okay. It's very valuable. So,
good. Thanks.
and congratulate you guys for even showing up. This is a
Yeah,
wonderful thing. Love is so wonderful.
love is wonderful. It can be,
All
and
right.
it can be a drag, but it can also be really great. So.
Yes. Well, when you define it and you're clear.
Well, also in the class, we'll talk about step 3, how you can turn around less than perfect situations.
Very good.
Thank you, Jan.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you have any questions, you can write me at Janet Perfect Customers. Linda, did you have questions?
No, I have to
You're
leave.
waiting.
I have
Okay. Well, I wanted
another
to
call.
honor
Thank you.
Grace time. Thank you for being here. I'm going to send a recording out shortly, and also the information on the class. And I hope that if it seems like a good fit for you, that you'll join in. So, all right. Bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Thanks. Really
All
wonderful.
right. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay. Thank you.
Now.